Nintendo. The fun-loving, happy-go-lucky friend that's always there for you. Creators of such classics as Super Mario, Legend of Zelda, Metroid, Star Fox, Kirby, Animal Crossing, Pokemon, and so many more. Their catalog goes on and on. So, what could possibly be so downright bizarre and out of left field for them to... Oh, right.
Mamma mia!
A ROM image, or a ROM file, is a file that contains a copy of the data from a read-only memory chip. In the case of today's discussion, it comes from a video game cartridge in an arcade game's main board. The term is used in the context of emulation, in which older games are then copied to ROM files and then ran through emulators on home computers. ROMs, for the most part, are looked as a way of preserving history in the terms of the gaming world. Not all forms of media will last forever, or never intended in the first place. So, this is the perfect case for adapting something old to work on a modern sense. Although, this does not always turn out to be in a positive favor. ROMs also have a bad reputation for the illegal distribution of said media, in which turn that can cause a reduction in sales lost. In addition to combat these possible losses, some companies have adopted countermeasures, such as the much-hated DRM, or the Digital Rights Management Tools. Yeah, this one has limited success, and only increased a lot of pirating. The copyright law of the United States is intended to encourage the creation of art and culture by rewarding authors and artists with a set of exclusive rights. Copyright law grants authors and artists the exclusive right to make and sell copies of their own works, the right to create derivative works, and the right to perform or display their works publicly. These exclusive rights are subject to a limited time and generally expire 70 years after the author's death, or in the case of the company as an entity. You may be asking yourself, can Nintendo really sue somebody for these ROMs? Well, let's see it in their own words. As stated on Nintendo's website, yes, personal websites and or internet content provider sites that link to the Nintendo ROMs, Nintendo emulators, and or illegal copying devices can be held liable for copyright and trademark violations regardless of whether the illegal software and or devices are on their site or whether they are linking to the sites where the illegal items are found. Starting in mid-2018, after years of quiet stance on the matter, Nintendo launched a war over the use of ROMs situated on the web that used their IPs. Most sites backed down over the gaming giant, succumbing to the threats of legal action, while others had two options to follow: shut down voluntarily or suffer the consequences and get ready for Nintendo's legal wrath. One of the first sites caught in Nintendo's stare was ROM Universe, which refused to shut its doors and claimed that Nintendo could not persuade them to do so either. As a direct measure against them, Nintendo then filed a copyright lawsuit. In a statement from Nintendo, they said, "In a complaint filed at the Federal Court of California, the Japanese gaming giant accuses the site's alleged operator, Matthew Storman, of brazen and mass-scale copyright and trademark infringement. The website is among the most visited and notorious online hubs for pirated Nintendo video games. Through the website, defendants reproduce, distribute, monetize, and offer for download thousands of unauthorized copies of Nintendo's video games. Nintendo states that in the site, which has 375,000 members, offers downloads for nearly every video game system it has ever produced." Nintendo's initial stance seems questionably harsh, considering with no DMC actions firstly, and right to a lawsuit for potentially seeking $100 million in damages. So why does this seem to be the way they went? Most likely as a security measure towards their newly revamped retro service on the Switch, checking all the boxes and then some. Continuing on their rampage of sorts, Nintendo then sued two more sites, Love Retro and Love ROMs. Nintendo cited $2 million for illicit use of their trademarks, plus $150,000 for each Nintendo game hosted on their site. No matter in what way these sites could have done, nothing could have prepared them enough to go head-to-head with such a giant. So shortly thereafter, both sides deleted all ROMs in accordance with Nintendo's wishes. One of the last to hold was the very popular, personal favorite of mine, Emu Paradise. As much as I wish to say they held out, they sent a public message and immediately pulled all ROMs from their site. The communities that had kept some of the game's greatest treasures preserved for future generations were now all gone. So where did all this lead to in the end? Exactly where they wanted it to. The short answer is Nintendo gained control of all their properties and continued to thrive with selling their online service, which is now tied in part to the retro games library. Is it perfect? No, not by any means. I don't think it ever could. It is, however, a step in the right direction. They are featuring a vast majority of classic NES and SNES titles, but nowhere near the full libraries that the ROM sites carried. This more often than not is due to the licensing issues associated with each game. There may never be a full list of all the classics you remember. Some may be lost to time, others laying in collections. So, is Nintendo completely wrong? The answer is no. But why? There's so much more than meets the eye when it comes to these cases. Certain details were not necessarily known that changed one's perspective on the matter quite a bit. Referring back to the ROM's Universe case, the site's owner, Matthew Storman, became embroiled in a long fight with Nintendo through not-so-ethical matters. It turns out that while serving ROMs to the public, ROM Universe was also selling books and other media in tandem with them as well. During the legal troubles, Storman also resorted to fighting the suit with crowd-funded donations for legal expenses. As stated, the operator has added a donation option to the ROM Universe homepage and also launched a crowdfunding campaign on GoFundMe, setting a goal of $100,000 to assist with the defense. ROM Universe was founded in 2009 under the notion that users like you should have easy access to the content that you purchased and the ability to relive those childhood moments. It is because of this that I am asking for your help, Storman says. Now I know what you're thinking. This one person is going to take on one of the largest console gaming manufacturers in the world. And short answer is yes, he notes. After the initial crowdfunding endeavors, a feature statement was given. On the GoFundMe page, Storman notes that he is not greedy or a scammer. He merely wants to defend his rights and those of the others of this unknown landscape. In the meantime, sites remain online. While some people may have donated to the site directly thus far, the crowdfunding campaign on GoFundMe hasn't gained any traction. After 2 days, the donation counter is still at 0. Most recently, the GoFundMe page now returns the page not found splash page. ROM Universe then resorted to soliciting direct donations instead, to no avail.
Game over!
What do I think? I personally felt Nintendo was justified in pursuing legal actions against some, not all, the cases. In the case of ROM Universe, Nintendo saw a threat to their IPs and someone making profit off them. So, they pursued it in just terms. As for the other sites, these ROM sites were just a testament to people's love for media and games. It was no secret that they existed. They were all direct results of companies like Nintendo who withhold media behind a paywall. I myself have paid countless times for the chance to play Donkey Kong Country on all Nintendo consoles, just because of my love for nostalgia for it. In this respect, I understand the ROM community. I, for one, miss these sites. I have a lot of fond memories using them to play games I would never had a chance to play, good or bad.